Hi, thank you so much for coming back. I hope your week was nice. My week was long, just too long. And before I continue, I need to tell you that it only started on Wednesday and it felt like I've been working for like 14 days straight. I know this is because I didn't prepare myself psychologically for like going back to work because after so many like months of lockdown, and I did nothing related to work, and so going back straight to work was just it was a shock to the system. And so I hope yours was better than mine, you know. And this entire week I've been speaking about remarkable women in history. I've been playing this little game where I describe a great lady and I ask you guys to guess who this lady was. And I had so much fun doing that, not only for challenging you guys, but also just reading about them. We're living at a time where we're still fighting for women's rights. We are still fighting to be regarded as, same as men, and the word feminist is still really frowned against. But these ladies that I was reading about, these ladies fought for women's rights back then when we were regarded as second-class citizens. We cannot say that right now we are second-class citizens. There are so many strides that we've taken. Countries like, is it Sweden? Yeah, the gender gap is quite low. It's the lowest in the world, if I'm not wrong. But so we've made such big strides. But these ladies were doing it back then, breaking glass ceilings and crossing boundaries. And you can't help but ask yourself, like, where do you go to get this greatness? Did you have to be born in the 1940s to like be this fierce? Like Wangari Maathai, like Joyce Banda, or like Gracia Machel. I just reading about them is wow. I'm like really stunned. And as I've said, our lady or our diva from the previous video was Gracia Machel. And I mentioned that she married well. This is what I was driving at, and this is what many people know her for. But it's quite unfortunate because this lady has achieved so much. She's achieved so much in terms of women's rights and children's rights. She's a founding member of the Elders, which is aimed at maintaining world peace. And also when she was still married, or rather her days in Mozambique, when she was still the first lady of Mozambique, she was also a minister for education, and she was able to reduce illiteracy rates by 22%. Do you know how huge that is? Like by 20, that is so big. And so, and I really concur with her when she says she didn't like being referred to as Samora Machel's wife. If you refer to her as that, she'd say, no, I'm Gracia. And it's like, wow. Like as I'm reading about these ladies, as I said, I was just in awe. And just not only from the fact that they were achieving so much, but back then, they didn't care. They didn't conform to any societal expectations. And so it's really impressive. And the other lady that I read about that was also stood up for me. And this was the first lady that I wanted to do for my first day, but I didn't think anyone would get this right. This lady was Tatu Betul of Ethiopia. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And this lady was also very impressive. She's remembered for her fight against resisting the Italians in Ethiopia. And if you know your history, you know that Ethiopia was never colonized. It was one of the two countries in Africa that were never colonized. And she was a part, or rather a major part, of this resistance. She was married to the Emperor Menelik II, and she also was remembered for tearing the Wechule Treaty, which was aimed at restructuring Ethiopia along Western lines. She never trusted these foreigners at the time. She never trusted them. And also she's remembered as the very first lady that agitated the men in Ethiopia to stand up for liberty, to stand up for their dignity and protect the country, and also the emperor. And if you are from Kenya and you did the 8444 system, you remember the Adawa War in history. You must have read this. She was also one of the forefront leaders during that time. So you can imagine this lady was fierce. in that time. And so, like, if this series, if anything from this series, just go look these women up, and I swear you will be inspired. And you will be inspired and just generally stunned and just impressed by what these ladies were able to achieve at a time when we was just supposed to be silent. They were not. And so you learn a thing about being a conforming and greatness not having to be at the same, not going hand in hand, I mean. So yeah, that is the end of our series for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, and as I said, I hope you're inspired to read more about these women. And I'll see you in the next video, and I'll be probably speaking about something completely different from this one. I'll see you then. Bye bye.